Alright, what is up everybody? In this video we're checking out every new Divine Boosted and Evolution for Bobak in Update 82 of Anime Last Stand. Back in the day, dude, like a week ago, I wasn't sure if we'd get this far, if we'd get another update after TUI Goku. We did. We have Divine Boost to check out. So first up we have Zoro. Thank you to Audio for showcasing this one. So Ruru Helking. 1k placement, no skill tree, no godly lead, and no soul. We check him out. Here's a line AoE in placement. He is doing 860 mil. For 1k placement damage, that's really good. 860 mil on placement every 4.51. Passive wise, though, we have one sword style. Zoro's first attack on an enemy will apply bleed. Additional attacks will apply bleed and hemorrhage. Okay, so bleed and hemorrhage on top of 800 mil. Alright. Supreme King Haki. Zoro's attacks will ramp up in damage 50% per attack. Every successful attack, max at 750%. Okay, so he's ramping up damage. Dark Attuned enemies will instead increase damage by 250%. So especially good against Dark. He's going to be doing 250% per attack instead of 50% buff. But pretty much ramping up damage and bleed and hemorrhage. Looking pretty good. Look at his price before upgrade. Yeah, so 500 sell values, you know, very cheap all across it looks like, but upgrade time, he's looking very strong. He's already doing, yeah. Okay, so this update was supposed to be like the rebalancing update. A lot of stuff was supposed to get nerfed. We have a new passive by the way on upgrade 3, which is a change of his like bleed passive here. Replaces, yeah, one sword style. So first attack will apply bleed and hemorrhage, and then additional ones apply bleed, hemorrhage, and dismantled. So keep in mind, this update is supposed to be like the nerfing update. We have 3 sword style now on upgrade 6 right here. Bleed, hemorrhage, dismantled, and then applies bleed, hemorrhage, dismantled, and mutilate on future ones. Yeah, he's looking really broken. Like, he's looking really broken. Max him out, upgrade 9, 3 sword style, King of Hell, and full AoE. Yeah, okay. I don't know what's up with this. I'm kind of thinking like this was definitely made before they were trying to rebalance everything, but I'm wondering why this guy's so strong. Anyway, okay. We have 70 billion every 9, full AoE, doing bleed, hemorrhage, dismantle, and mutilate on the first attack. The next one are going to apply, so attacks after the first one, apply bleed, hemorrhage, dismantle, mutilate, and rupture. And then his crits will also siphon 1% of damage dealt as damage for his next attack, cap of 1 trillion. So, okay, when he crits, he's going to increase his damage for the next attack up to 1 trillion. So he has ramping up damage up to like 750% right here. That's what's leading him to have 70 billion, but he's looking really strong. Zoro's looking good. Honestly, kind of OP for only 300k, what they're trying to rebalance around, making units weaker, but I don't know, he's looking really good. Thank you, Audio, for showing him off. That was Zoro. Next up, we have Moon Demon Art, Kokushibo, another Divine Boost, I think. We have Glitched and Accelerate 2 on him. Thank you, Audio, again. We have no skill tree, no soul, no godly lead. So, placement cost of 1k. He is doing 250 mil with Rupture and Expose on placement, okay. Looking really broken. Again, bodily autonomy every 60 seconds as unit cycles through his stats, buffing one at a time by 100%. So right now, 100% range, he has 60, and he's a line AoE. Overbearing intent, enemies underexposed within his range take 50% more damage from any unit. So, 50% damage buff for anything with Expose on in his range, and he applies Expose, with which has a 15-second cooldown. Okay, he's looking really strong as a buffer already, but I don't know, maybe I'm like just kind of not remembering how ALS balancing goes. By the way, new passive, new effect, new attack, and upgrade 4. I don't know, everything feels really OP now. Like, really ridiculously OP. I'm kind of shocked by how much these guys are doing. Demonic Absorption, whenever an enemy within this unit's range is inflicted with a bleed type dot, which he has right here, Rupture and Dismantled, he gains a 10 million flat damage buff. So whenever something's in his range there, see his damage kind of ramping up by like a little 1% per or whatever, something very small. Eventually ramping up though to be kind of okay numbers. Demonic Arts, upon activation, this unit gains 10% of the total damage stat of every unit in range as a flat damage buff for 100 seconds. So he still can kind of steal damage from other units, was his whole thing before the Divine Boost, but I mean, he's looking pretty good. I don't know if my like perspective of the meta is kind of wrong now, because it's been a long time. Zoro's looking really good. Kokushibo's looking kind of alright, looking kind of mid, just kind of alright. Moving on, we have Bobak Gold. Bobak Gold. Evo of Bobak. Oh, he's kind of gold because I have like a shiny or something. This is from having the OG Bobak, which I think normally is just kind of like his normal green and blue muscly look. But Bobak Evo. Also doing 500 mil for 3.88 on placement. Maybe I'm just kind of tweaking and like, this isn't actually that insane. He has electrified on placement doing 571 mil as well. Circle AoE, he has 3 different passives. Nope. Okay, a lot of different passives actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 passives. So let's go through them real quick. His electrified damage is increased by 1.2x times upgrade. Wait, what? Okay, so you can increase it up to like 12 times? What? 12 times of like the base value? That would be insane. Okay, and then also, enemies affected by his electrified take 41% more damage from all sources. So, already like a better buff than Kokushibo, the last one we checked out. Excessive aura, once per unit, Bobak buffs the weakest unit in his range by 150%, so 150% buff. Bobak is the weakest unit, he buffs his own damage by 400%, so yeah, if you keep him on his own, like, no other unit in his range, there's the buff, giving him a lot of damage. If I place down, like, I don't know, for now, Senku, just to take away the damage buff from him, we'll check that out. Let me also get the attack animations on, because he's a new unit right here, so... Wait, wrong setting, hold on. So this update's dropping at like 3 in the morning for me, I'm kind of getting sleepy already, but... Elemental Fist, crit strikes apply weak burn and weak bleed. So weak burn, I guess weaker than the base value of 120%, so not the best damage over time, but it's okay. Master of Elements, every attack apply one of the following: Wind Shear, Soaked, Frostbite, or Brittle. Frostbite and Brittle are pretty good, I think. This is a good debuff, and then this is also a pretty good debuff, I think. Yeah, kind of extends the buff of Frostbite, or extends the freeze of Frostbite. So, looking pretty good, and then on placement as well. Having Greedy Glutton. This is a crazy passive. I'm glad Doggo, the balancer who made this unit, added this because it's kind of like an inside thing. I used to be saying this in a call whenever somebody's taking all the loot in a game. I call it Greedy Glutton. I'm crazy this is being added to the game. But anyway, enemies killed by Bobak give 200% more money. He gets a lot of money. We upgrade him here. New effect, Poison on upgrade 4. So if you didn't have enough dot from Electrified, he's already doing 1.27 bill with all this going on for only 20k. Look, guys, it's hard to take the showcase seriously now. I feel like ALS I thought it was going to die off last update. I thought the balance changes were going to kind of switch everything around and make stuff not do insane damage anymore. I don't know, this is with the Just Glitch and Glorious on him. I do have maxed out crit skill tree, I think, so that is something. But he's looking broken, right? Because the Electrified is doing like, yeah, 20 billion it says in here because 1.2x, but it's really doing like 10 times that, so 200 billion pretty much. And then Poison, yeah, I don't know. He's looking broken. He's looking really OP. No more percent-based damage anymore, I think. Like, no units are doing percent-based damage anymore. But I don't know, it's crazy. These are all looking like strong units besides Kokushibo, kind of meh, but I don't know. Bobak, really strong. There's Bobak Gold, the shiny one for having the old unit, pretty much. Next we have Ulmiorra, Tercera, Ulmiorra, Divine Boost as well. These are all kind of Divine Boost besides Bobak's and Evo. So mine here has Glitch and Mystical on him, maxed out crit skill tree, I think. Only one that I don't have skill tree on is Kenpunchi, and I got All Seeing Double Shade on him to kind of compensate for that. So Abyssal Feathers, apply 1 feather to the enemy every attack. If the enemy dies, hold on, is this Divine Boosted? It is, yeah, so, okay. I remember him having something similar before, but if an enemy dies while feathers are attached, he gains 5% damage per feather for 60 seconds, and he can only have a cap of 10 per enemy, so... I mean, it's ramping up his damage quite a bit. We have like a 200% damage buff on him, he's doing 1 billion already. He's looking pretty okay. Channeling Lance Smite. Feather Synergy. Increases damage dealt to enemies by 10% per feather on them. Upon attacking an enemy with 10 feathers, feathers are removed and the attack deals 5 times damage and is guaranteed to be critical. Applying Bolt and Electrified. So he's got pretty much ramping up damage here. He does more damage when stuff has feathers on them. He applies the feathers every attack. And then he also has a guaranteed crit at some point when he removes the feathers, attacking with 10 feathers on them. Guaranteed crit, 5 times damage, Bolt, and Electrified. Pretty crazy, like, mini nuke type of thing there, mini burst damage thing. But I don't know, it's hard to, like, I don't even know. Guys, showcases, I'm gonna be kind of, like, out of my element for ALS, because I don't even know what the balancing is supposed to look like anymore. This is supposed to be the nerfing update, but I'll check out the nerfs pretty soon, by the way, after this video goes out. Sheer Tempest, he removes all the feathers from enemies in range, inflicts bleed on all of them, scaling off the damage times, total remove feathers with a 300-second cooldown. He is already becoming full AoE on upgrade 3, so it's pretty good. Nullifying Explosion, upgrade 7. New ability Eviscerate, where he's going to deal 1 trillion times total map-wide feathers to all enemies. If boss... Okay. Yeah, he can redirect the damage split evenly among the bosses. Feathers reapplied on attack are permanently increased to 5. So, I mean, it's not that insane. If an enemy can have like up to 10 feathers on it, that's 10 trillion per enemy. 100 times that would be... I don't even know, can I do that math on the top of my head? Something. It'd be a lot. He's doing 50 billion. He's doing 50 billion every 1.93 with full AoE slow. Yeah, okay. So some of the units are still looking pretty good. I'm guessing these were kind of designed before the balance changes, right? But he's looking really strong. He's looking really, really strong. Zoro is still probably better, because Zoro was also looking really OP in the beginning. I think Bobak is looking also good. I think Kokushiba is probably the worst one out of the 3 we've seen so far. That was Ulmiorra. Moving on to Kenpunchi is the next and final divine boost we're going to check out today. Finally, we have my Kenpunchi Kai. And this guy is Glitch and All-Seeing on him with Mystical. So, he doesn't have crit skill tree, I don't think. I don't have his skill tree maxed out, so he's going to be a little bit weaker than the other ones I showed off, but he has All-Seeing to make up for that. So, on placement, 360 mil or 4.74, circle AoE. He has Fear, and he has Hemorrhage. Looking pretty tame, pretty on the lower end for 4k compared to the units we've seen so far, because every other unit is very cheap and doing, I think, more than him. Thrill of Battle, No Mei Norizashi ability, and Release Pressure, so he's got 2 passives and an ability on placement. The ability is a 20 times damage nuke with Rupture off that multiplier, and an 8-second stun. Wow, with a 30-second only cooldown. Okay, so he actually has like a almost 30% uptime on a stun. Very good stun, especially for having Fear as well, so he's really strong for that already. Thrill of Battle, unit has an enjoyment meter, gain enjoyment, you can see that right there, top left. 1 per kill in range, plus 1 per kill in range, plus 2 for each second this unit is stunned. At 100 enjoyment, he replaces a limiting eye patch. Or, wait. Limiting eye patch. Okay, okay, so I gotta replace them. And go through the initial passive here. It'll get replaced by other stuff when he ramps up his meter. So, limiting eye patch, his damage stat gains 2% of the strongest enemy in range's max HP, cap of 10 billion. I'm glad they capped that out, so it's not like infinite damage buffing there, but... Throw the battle. Going through these again, so replaces that with Release Pressure and 2-handed swing with No Mei Norizashi. Okay, so I was kind of seeing his like ramped up 100 enjoyment form. His initial ability on placement is 2-handed swing, 5 times damage nuke with bleed off that multiplier, and a 4-second walk back on a 30 cooldown. So it's not as OP as like when he was in 100 meter. And then once he gets ramped up to 250 meter, he's also going to gain a 25 damage nuke to all enemies on the map and unlock Mindless Berserker passive. And then gain 0.5% range and 100 million damage per 1 enjoyment past 250. So, ramping up damage from his bar here, he unlocks different passives, so Release Pressure you unlock at 100. This is going to be enemies affected by pressure while in range. For every kill in range at 0.025% of the killed enemy's max HP is damage to this unit, cap of 100 bill. Okay. So he's going to have like a permanent pressure for anything in his range, and then he also is going to gain damage for stuff he kills with a cap of 100 bill. I mean, it's not as OP as it could have been. I'm glad they're capping the percent-based stuff, but he's looking pretty strong. Kind of upgrade him here until he gets to the full enjoyment bar of 250 and see what the other passives are going to be. Mindless Berserker will be eventually. Full AoE on upgrade 4, looking pretty strong. I think the strongest part is his ability on 100 enjoyment. This is like a really good uptime on a stun, but... Max out, upgrade 8, circle AoE now, Demon Cut, and doing 15.5 bill or 4.06 with Hemorrhage and Fear. And, I mean, it's alright, it's looking pretty good if anything. We have a new passive, Mindless Berserker, 250 enjoyment here. Every 3 attacks, he's going to self-stun for 2 seconds, deal 5 times damage in range, and apply Dismantle to Office Multiplier. This unit will always hit the strongest enemy in range and apply Mutilate to it, regardless of AoE. So, pretty good boss killer there. And then the self-stun thing, I feel like that had something to do with his other passive, but I don't really remember what it was. I don't know. I mean, he's looking alright. 20-ish billion, 4.06 with Hemorrhage. I think the best part is just the stun from No Mei Norizashi, so he's probably going to be like a support unit, but that was every Divine Boosted or Evolved unit with Bobak. You know, he counts as an Evo Gold Bobak from having the old OG Bobak. That was every Divine Boosted unit from update 82. Sorry, I'm still kind of getting back into the groove of these showcase videos, but also kind of hard to take this balancing seriously because it was kind of like the rebalancing update, and we're still looking at like billions of damage, you know? So it's like hard to really even grasp how strong these units are anymore. But they're alright. We'll check out the nerfed units next. Thank you, Audio, for showcasing a couple of the Divine Boosts we saw today. Otherwise, let me know what you think in the comments down below about these units and the nerfs in general. Let me know what you think, because it is kind of a crazy update for ALS in the future. But thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. We'll see you in the next one. Have a great day.